Hello and welcome back to another video. In this one, I wanted to talk about what is a living being and what is a non-living being. Now, we have all heard of these terms. We have all delved into these two dualities that we live in. We separate the living animate beings and we separate and give them a higher value than the non-living beings. We have also classified the non-living beings into different categories and so on. But I want to talk about this major duality that exists in our languages, in our scientific view, in our whole classification, and how we have transcended mere classification into thinking that there are actually living and non-living entities. First of all, I want to point out to your consciousness. Your consciousness matters because what you assume is conscious like you or me. You give that consciousness a higher value than the other consciousnesses. For example, you assume that all human beings have higher value than the animal beings. They are also conscious. They also seem to have all the qualities, almost all the qualities. Of course, uh, the lower qualities to be specific, the lower qualities like hunger, survival. We all relate with the animals in that respect also, and so we give animals uh, certainly a higher, uh, to a degree, a higher value than the non-living beings. But if you think about consciousness, they are somehow below you. They are somehow they have these animalistic tendencies. Of course, they live in a family. They have all these things, but we we lower them because we think that they are certainly not like us. So, what is conscious and what is non-conscious? This is an important thing to understand when we move forward in our terminologies of spirituality and all of the philosophy. And this is the most important question that we must ask ourselves, at least at least at a certain point of time where we realize that that death is certain. We must ask ourselves what is consciousness and who are we, and what do we actually mean by consciousness. Without further investigating into consciousness, we are trying to investigate and advance our technological systems, our exploration in the universe, in the space, and so on. Our view is so outward that we haven't really looked at and grasped the meaning of what is living and what is non living. Your consciousness depends on the whole world, the whole experience of life. Every single thing in your conscious view exists because you are conscious, and it is the most important event in the universe. No, the Big Bang is not the most important event. It is not the the constellation aligning that is the important event. No, it is not even evolution. It is not even the fact that you are a biological being. The first important fact is that you are conscious, that you are alive and you are living here in this world. Now, if we look at the meaning of consciousness, if we move ourselves from this objective view of reality to the subjective view of reality, we see things completely differently from what the biological facts even point out towards. To me, this person that I am, this Adnan that I am, or this mind that I have, that I am interacting with, and everything else in my life, everything is conscious. I look at the earth as a conscious entity because without my consciousness, the earth does not exist, hence it must be conscious. Sure, you can put it down, you can, of course, trample the earth and maybe dig it, but it is still conscious to me and it matters because it stores memory. To me, places, things, and even the non-living things, the so-called non-living things are living to me. They are they have consciousness. It may be a diminished form of consciousness, but they relate with you because they are because they exist. Like the animals relate with you because they hunt for food. They gather food, some of them at least, and so on. We relate with the animals because we have this shared qualities. But why don't you relate with a thing that simply exists, with a stone or a particle that simply exists? And if you start looking at the world through a conscious view, assuming for at least the fun of it, assuming this hypothesis to be real, if you look at the world as conscious beings, you will be able to interact with every single thing. Every single thing will have a value. Your clothes will have a value. They will have a certain essence of it. Your chair will have a value. Your mobile phone will have a certain essence to it because it is yours and it is in your consciousness every single day. The guitar that you have spent time with when you were young values because you have spent time with it. It is yours. You have put your conscious thought into it. It will be completely different for an artist to grab a new guitar. That will be another whole experience. People have essence, animals have essence, trees are different from each other. There may be the same species, but they are different somehow, and you can feel it. You can feel that places are different, that the rooms that you have lived your life in is different, that your father's home is different from your mother's. And so I say that everything is conscious, that everything has a value, it has an essence. Assume it for a day, and you will see all around you, even your pen seems different to you. A simple thing like your microphone will seem different to you, a shawl will seem different to you. The clothes that you have worn when you were attending a party suddenly seem to have some memory left inside them, and when you wear them, you seem to recall those things. Of course, it might be something related to your mind, but what is mind? What is mind exactly without consciousness? And memory is something that is embedded in the whole world. It is embedded in the whole structure of the universe. And so everything is mind. This is one of the truths that is written in this book called the Kybalion, which was written by this person called Hermes Trismegistus. You have probably heard of that book, and one of the things that is written in that book is all is mind. What you give to this universe comes back to you. And so everything is conscious. Now, Look at these terms called the living and the non-living. It is good for classification, of course, but it is a wrong classification. It gives this dual view, to your mind, and you suddenly start to put things into two categories: the positive and the negative, the living and the non-living, the good and the bad, the ethical and the non-ethical, and so on and so forth. We seem to classify everything in two terms. And at these extremes, the extremes of non-living and living, there are infinite number of living states, of conscious states. You may be fully conscious. It certainly seems that human beings are fully conscious. They're somehow above the animals, that's for sure. But you might not be really that conscious. There might be somebody who is more conscious than you. But how will you know that? You will really not know unless you reach a certain state of consciousness yourself. And so the mystics talk about these things. The Buddha talked about these things. And in Hinduism and in many Indian philosophies, they talk about raising your consciousness. And the first thing that the Buddha taught, and which is taught in a lot of spiritual traditions, is mindfulness. It is being aware. It is being conscious of everything that you are. It is looking in and looking at those parts inside you that are really unconscious, and putting light onto these unconscious things inside you. You will start to uncover them. You will start to realize the hidden patterns inside yourself, the things that weren't in light, that were really dead inside you, feelings inside you that were not in your view suddenly enlightened. Suddenly they are alive now, and they are in your conscious view. And there are a lot of things in your conscious view that come out of your unconscious. Now, is this realm of the unconscious, is that unreal? Is that a non-living realm? It is, because everything is a form of consciousness, a state of consciousness. I was once a stone. This statement may be absurd for a lot of people, but you have to understand that in order to evolve into something, you must have gone through the experience of it. The experience of simply being like a stone, simply being inert, simply existing for the sake of existing. You know that feeling. You know how it is like to be inert, and hence you relate with a stone. You relate with a non-living entity. You relate with every non-living entities: the pen, the shawl, the tree, the microorganisms inside your body. You relate with all of them, and what you call you, what you see in the mirror, is the universe of a microorganism. So think about that, contemplate about that, and you will see that a door opens suddenly. That suddenly everything seems connected, and you will enjoy this interconnection. You will enjoy and feel this interconnection in your heart, in your consciousness. You will feel that everything in this world is connected, and you are part of this network, this web of life. Thank you for watching this video, and if you like this video, be sure to click on the like button down below, and also subscribe to my channel for further videos on this topic and on philosophy, spirituality, You can also read my articles that I post. Currently, I post them on Medium, but I will also be posting them on Substack and further platforms. So, thank you.